Hi, Mac.
Hey,
I have a question for you. What's more exciting, the college football championship game, which is TCU 7, Georgia 59, or the new Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer that debuted, unfortunately, in the third quarter, which meant we had to watch 3 quarters of this game?
yeah. It's close. It's close. This game is riveting right now. TCU is about to mount a comeback. I can feel it.
Uh-huh.
But I really enjoyed this trailer. This was really cool.
So we're gonna watch it. You can watch obviously the full thing on YouTube/Marvel, but we'll show it so you can know what we're talking about. This is the full trailer, so they had the version they played during the show. This one has a little bit extra in it. So let me add this, and then let's get going.
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. But you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
It can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much. He can give us a second chance.
Let me make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need, or everything you call a life will end.
This is all my fault.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
You thought you could win.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
So initial thoughts.
I like how tonally different this is from, at least in the trailer. That can always change when it gets to the movie itself. But how tonally different this is from the previous two Ant-Man movies, and actually even just different from the first trailer. Because remember, the first trailer has the Baskin Robbins stuff and the thank you Spider-Man gag, and so it's crazy how different these two have been. I'm really excited to see which direction, if either, the film actually favors.
Yeah, it's interesting because I imagine it's both, right? Like you're not going to make an Ant-Man movie and not have that, Paul Rudd,
Right.
Mac and me stuff. But I think it's also showing that this is an epic Ant-Man movie, which is something new. The first one was a heist movie. The second one was kind of, fine, but it was, it was more sort of the same kind of small, no pun intended. I mean, you can just walk right into a pun anytime here, but this is full like Captain America Civil War, but Ant-Man, right? Like this is full on leading into, even say it started the new dynasty. This is obviously leading into the Kang dynasty and majorly into the multiverse saga. Obviously is already pulling threads from Loki. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a bit of a change for where the importance Ant-Man has played in the MCU previously. He was sort of in many ways a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
After like a big crazy thing. So now we're going full crazy.
Yeah, that was even the end of Phase 2, right? Was the first Ant-Man when that stuck in there after Ultron, where Ultron was so heavy and dark, and then you had Ant-Man to wrap things up. And yet this now feels like it can be that big, like you said, it's like the kickoff to this whole new level of craziness that we're about to get into. This trailer kind of introduces a new plot point where it seems like Kang is offering Scott a deal and he accepts it. I mean, it seems like we get that far with this trailer. So, despite Jan's warnings, he trusts Kang, and things obviously don't go his way.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot to unpack. I'm going to go through the Disney supplied images, and then we'll talk about the stuff that's actually interesting. So first, it seems like the thread is they sort of jokingly talk about the blip in the Spider-Man movie, but like you never really get the processing of the lost 5 years, really.
Yeah,
we had the people in Endgame who were dealing with it, but we never really had the sort of reunification, sort of in a serious way, which it seems like he missed his daughter's childhood, and that obviously had an impact on her. Obviously, would have an impact on him. So you can understand, I missed the fun times. I went straight to brooding teenager, and how that would be.
This is something we've talked about on our various shows several times, by the way. I would love a series of shorts or something that just dives into normal human stories and how they are dealing with the blip and life after the blip. I think that would be so fascinating. Could be such, could make for so many great stories. You can tie in other elements of the MCU, and you're kind of getting a little bit of it here. So I love that.
Then we have, obviously this picture of, so it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, but it seems a little Ant-Man focused.
Yeah.
But obviously he's the one who was, he has the daughter, which makes sense. You don't want to kind of force it to be, bring in a Wasp story as, that's not necessarily germane to this, but I imagine she's still going to have a big role just given the quality of her performances in the previous two films. And, really the only Scott's anchor too. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how their relationship progresses here, because like you said, we're not really getting any of that in the marketing for it so far. So, curious to see what role Hope has to play.
Then you have this image of what are you thinking of these bubbleheads here?
So it's so funny. I have to go back, and I've watched this like 3 times, but I've been paying attention to the same details because they're the ones that are getting me excited. And yeah, this like army of Kang here, at least that's maybe what it seems like. Perhaps they are working for somebody else that's in this image, and maybe they're going down a different path here, which would be really interesting. I mean, I don't know, do we want to just jump right into it right now?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, so that big chunk of head and metal in the bottom left is MODOK. And so you've got these goons around him. Is this going to be AIM? Are they going to go down that road? And here you can see not a great look, but you can see him in that top left corner. Are you surprised by the look of MODOK for this? Because I thought they were going in a different direction.
So they showed him at Comic-Con.
They showed you this look?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At least that's what I remember. I mean, you remember the little tiny. I remember sort of. I'd say it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not as surprised as you. It kind of feels like this is what MODOK would look like in live action. I didn't expect like the Patton Oswalt.
No. I love that they're doing this. So everything that I had heard was that MODOK was more of a mechanical look, and you do see him again in the trailer later on when he's like, actually in action and ready to fight, and he has he looks like a robot more or less. Here you have this big fleshy head, and I was not expecting them to go that direction, and I love that they did.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's going to be AIM, because obviously AIM was dealt with in Iron Man 3.
That's what I'm curious about too.
And,
yeah,
but I was kind of bummed because you had AIM, you kind of ended AIM, but you didn't have MODOK, which is kind of
right.
Then it's just sort of the poor man's Hydra. But I'm glad they found a way, and I kind of am not against if it's sort of like an ally of Kang, just to kind of, because he's not gonna, I don't know. Who knows how long he's going to be around,
right?
But I hope kind of like how I feel like we never got full Armin Zola. And
Yeah.
I kind of regret that. Like, I'm excited now we're getting, at least an appearance of MODOK.
Yeah, I am really curious how big of a role he'll play. If I'm gonna guess at all, I'm thinking he also has worked out a deal with Kang and has been following through on that until he will eventually find out that Kang, is not to be trusted, and that will probably be the end of MODOK. I can't imagine they're gonna go forward with him too much in the MCU.
Well, I wonder how much MODOK origin we're gonna get too.
Yeah, I'm curious about how much time they're going to be willing to give him in this movie. Do we know the runtime of this? I'm sure it's out there, right?
I don't know if it is yet.
Okay.
Because tickets, as far as I know, tickets aren't on sale yet.
Right.
Not in my normal places, but I mean, it doesn't mean it's not out there. I just don't have it.
Gotcha. I haven't seen anything for it yet. But if this is something like the length of like Wakanda Forever, which I don't expect it to be, then you could give MODOK some time in his backstory, but I wouldn't expect to see that. I think
it kind of depends on like, is he going to be around for a bit? Is he one and done? And you seem to think he is. I don't know. Just with the 2 other films, I don't know if there'll be more of him. But one person I was impressed with the sort of one thing I love about the Ant-Man franchise is Hank and Janet. Mm-hmm. Because it's so cool to see people of an actual age like whipping butt, I mean, because you don't get that, I mean, we talk a lot about, there's great inclusion in the MCU. One thing we don't have a lot of is old people until, unless they're dying. And, I would love, like, I still would love to see like Hank, Michael Douglas and, Michelle Pfeiffer, like in a movie, like in their own thing.
Yeah,
I think that would be so cool. So kind of like the Golden Girls of the MCU. But I'm excited. She seems to really be giving a great performance here.
Definitely, yeah. I like that they are giving her more spotlight. And on what you were talking about, I think it's believable with Michelle Pfeiffer too, right? I mean, that's Catwoman, right? Like you've seen her do this,
right?
Granted, it was a long time ago, but she can. We know she can do this. Michael Douglas, it's a little bit different, but I like to see.
That's what helmets are for. You don't have to.
Yes, exactly. Ant-Man is always about the technology and the science anyway. He was never really a fighter, so it works.
Here's another picture of Hope, watching this boring game.
Which TCU is still down, by the way.
Yeah, not by an insignificant number. And I'm pretty sure Georgia pulled their starters and still
yes,
no luck.
Yeah.
So here we have Kang watching over his sort of, I guess, world within the quantum realm. I mean, I'm just guessing here. Obviously, this won't be the first time that they fooled me on a trailer where I think I know what I'm seeing and I don't.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if we get terms like Chronopolis. Like, are they going to refer to it as that? The Damocles and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what we get out of Kang here. I will say, Jonathan Majors is starting to look more and more like Kang. Like the face is just perfect.
Well, and I that's the thing is, I think we kind of got. At least I was, the what was the man with no name, or what was his name?
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. That's not Kang, right? But you think like so. I saw him. I was like, he doesn't look anything like Kang. But then I realized, like, okay, no, he's not Kang. He's just a variant of Kang.
Right.
But man, is he Kang in this?
Yeah. He's very Kang, full Kang, you might say.
Yeah. And I love the mask giving him the blue tint.
Yes. I like the way they did that.
Well, here's more. I mean, we talked about them already. And here's, I mean, you can see the lines on his face, the full blue, the Conqueror outfit.
There's another shot in the trailer too where it's like, it's a close up on his face, and you're like, that's the Kang I know from the comic book. I love it. It's so spot on.
And here's the new poster. So this is another new poster after the new poster I had today.
Yeah, that was just a teaser poster. This is the full poster.
So I'm trying to see. So we got, what do we got here? We got obviously Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Jonathan Majors. Really, his agent did a good job.
Yeah.
The third, Cassie, with Catherine Newton. Bill Murray, who we didn't see in this one.
Yeah, I was expecting to get a little bit more information about Bill Murray in this. I expected to maybe see a little less Kang. But we talked about it. I mean, this trailer has surprised me in every way, really, like going in a completely different direction tonally. So I do need to take a closer look at this trailer, or not the trailer, the poster, and sort of examine some of the background details. I'm curious about these the natives of the quantum realm and what they're hiding. So I'm gonna have to take a closer look at that.
And then obviously we got Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas getting the famous with credit, saying that they're just as famous, but not the star. And I don't know if this zooming in shows up on StreamYard, but we can appreciate they putting white text on brown, so you can barely see. But I just want to see. I'm trying to see if there's any surprises in the log line here.
Names in there.
They got Industrial Light and Magic to do visual effects. That's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get even bigger. Okay.
It's even smaller for me, so it's kind of hard to see on this. But is William Jackson Harper in there at all? Curious if they've.
Yes.
He is. Okay.
And so is David Dashman.
That's
that guy.
I believe.
Yeah.
Reprising his role as Kurt.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Ex-con guy.
Yeah.
Katie O'Brien. Music by Christoph Beck. Who,
okay. Returning again.
I think we've interviewed about 14 times.
Love his music.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Loveness. Producers on this one, obviously, the Kevin Feige, but I'm trying to find like the real producer. Looks like this looks like Stephen Broussard is the main guy on this one.
Okay.
They have sort of a contingent, but then there's like an actual producer actually produces it, day to day. So,
Peyton Reed, by the way, did mention you said a little when we were talking about this shift in tone that this doesn't feel like the palate cleanser. I think that those are the same words that Peyton Reed used, that he doesn't want this movie to be a palate cleanser anymore. He wants to be serious, and he wants to have that weighty MCU movie as opposed to just the comic relief. And it definitely feels like it's hitting that note right now. So.
The one thing I think is interesting is Peyton Reed's done a lot of Disney work. So Peyton Reed did Elements of Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes TV adaptation.
Wait, I didn't even know. Wait, hang on. There was a TV Wait, was the movie? Is that a TV movie or was it?
Yeah, they made a TV movie, like even The Wonderful World of Disney in the 90s.
Yeah.
They made a Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, also a Love Bug remake for the ABC. He's directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian. But when I was going through just to make sure I had all his Disney credits, the one thing I wasn't expecting to see is he directed all 13 episodes of The Weird Al Show.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of feel like out of all the Marvel directors, kind of like I feel like Paul Rudd, like you could hang out with. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like I feel like Peyton Reed's the one. I mean, and this again, it's not like, Peyton Reed's also the one you kind of randomly see on the lot at Disney too all the time. And Paul Rudd like just hangs out at the junket, just waiting in the waiting room with you. But like this is like besides maybe Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, this is like the Marvel movie with like accessible people. And so, not that being inaccessible is a problem. It's there's some people that just really are chill about things.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, and it's not even like, I mean, I won't speak for you, but I don't personally know Paul Rudd and Peyton Reed. Like I've never been around them. But it's just sort of the vibe that they give off, right? Like Mike C and I got to be at the premiere of Eternals and we're out on the the purple carpet, and Camille Nanjiani was nearby, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like I love Camille. I'm a big fan. Angelina Jolie walked on. I was like, I can't be in her presence. I don't belong here. So there's some, and it's not a negative. It's just like, it's just the vibe that celebrity has. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right about.
I'm gonna answer. Say, hey guy from World Biggest Geek. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, you think in this movie there will be a scene or an end credit of a little ship detaining 4 members coming out of the world to stop the Conqueror himself? I don't think you're going to see him stop the Conqueror, because that would be sort of, I think, saved for the Kang Conqueror. What's it called? What's the last one? This thing, Kang Dynasty. Kang. Is that the last one? What's the other? What's the other one?
Wars is the next one
Okay,
after that. Yeah.
Okay. So whatever it happens. I think that's going to be the thing. But I mean, Kang is related to Reed Richards, right? Like, kind of.
So I'm writing something for this movie that I just did a whole bunch of just deep dive research on, and there's a lot of complications with Kang and who he is or may be or may not be related to, or actually just be himself. Like there are characters who might be the same person, and it's a really interesting character history with him. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, they could totally stop Kang in this movie, right? Because then there can just be another Kang. So there's so many different ways they can go with this character that I'm really interested to see what they actually do. And I mean, what the hint of this question is there's obviously ties to the Fantastic Four with Kang. So I can't imagine this would be the spot to reveal them. But it also, as far as the story goes, it makes sense. So
it just feels like the right time to, I don't necessarily reveal them, but at least tease them.
Yeah. I think we could definitely get a tease.
Considering we're teasing mutants right now, and
sure.
That's not even on the playbook as far as we know.
Yeah.
And then, hi, Stephen from Wyoming. I'm glad you're not from TCU, Texas, because they just lost the game. They scored 7 points, Georgia 65.
And they didn't get shut out, so, that's good.
Yeah, I guess.
This game was 10-7 too, wasn't it?
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
Yeah, it was ugly. There was one other aspect of the trailer that I wanted to talk about too, and it's focused on Cassie. Do we see her getting picked up from jail at one point?
It seems that way.
Yeah, right? Like, Scott gets a call and they see them like opening the cell and Cassie walks out. But also they seem to be hinting at, and this is a trailer, they can be tricking us in 100 different ways, but they seem to be hinting at this being, Scott Lang's death, right? Like he is going to lose this fight to Kang, and he's kind of more or less passing the torch to Cassie. And that is a driving factor in her comic character, at least for a little while. You know how it is with comic book characters. They never stay dead for too long, but Scott Lang's death is a driving factor for Cassie Lang. So it'll be really interesting to see if they decide to go in that direction.
It will be. I mean, I think we all sort of agree that eventually we're going to get the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
If not, it seems like they're spending a lot of time setting it up. But I think, I'm not ready to give up Scott.
No, definitely not.
But well, I mean, I don't have much say in this matter.
Sure. No, I'm just not willing to let go of him. So we'll be tweeting at Kevin Feige, like, bring him back.
Yeah, and then Kevin Feige will care what we think.
Right. Exactly. Of course. Well, I mean, Kevin is just a machine anyway, right? So
right. Well, that's the funny is, like, someone was talking to me how, like, AI, like, sometimes Marvel movies seem like they're developed by AI, and I'm like, well, maybe they are. Anyway, this game's over, so you can actually watch something interesting now. You can just watch this trailer on repeat. Should we run it one more time?
I am. Yeah, I think, why not? I'm going to watch it at least a few more times tonight. So,
well, so I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably a stupid way to do this, but how excited are you for this movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, right in this moment, it's a 10. Can I go to 11? Because, I mean, we're coming right off the trailer. This is the next project, too. It might be different if there was something in between. Like, if I had another episode of a show to watch on Friday or Wednesday or Thursday, whatever the new day is anymore, it might be, a notch down. But this is we're on a little bit of a drought, right? Which feels crazy to say. But this is the next Marvel project coming up. We still have about a month to wait, maybe a little bit longer. And so, yeah, I'm as high as I'm allowed to go.
Okay. On this time, I think I'll keep our faces on here so you can see our reaction, but because that's really important. But here we go. And
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. But you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that.
Who are you?
I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want.
What's that?
Time.
It can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much. He can give us a second chance.
Let me make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need, or everything you call a life will end.
This is all my fault.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
You thought you could win.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
so February 17th. You ready?
I'm definitely ready. Watching that one more time, by the way, just picked up one more thing that mentioning the difference in tone, that the first shot of Scott walking is the same shot from the first
Right.
trailer. And it's still just so different. It's amazing, what they can do with, just the music really is really what changes. And I guess they slowed it down a little bit, but really impressive.
Yeah. It's exciting. We've had I don't want to say a lull because we've had plenty of Marvel last year, but
Yeah.
It's been a bit since what was the last thing, I guess. Well, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Which wasn't always like 2 months ago, but I think we had Marvel, and now we're ready to kind of transition back, I think. So, to something new.
Yeah. I mean, can't wait to get back into it.
So, if you're not watching this on LPTV, always keep LT when when you're watching a football game that you shouldn't be watching. Turn on LPTV. You never know when we're gonna go live. Like even tomorrow morning when there's news to break that we may not be able to talk about yet. So,
what news is breaking tomorrow? What's
if I could you ruin the tease here if I just say it. But anyway, you never know what'll happen. So turn us on. We actually got a crazy week, some of which we can talk about, some of which we can't. So just stay tuned all week. Keep us on laughingplace.com/TV. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.